Okay, so you're probably used to hearing about uranium as the fuel that powers nuclear power plants around the world. But what if I told you there's another element out there that could potentially challenge uranium's dominance? An element called thorium. But is thorium really a threat to uranium's reign in nuclear power? Let's take a closer look. Thorium is a slightly radioactive element found in the Earth's crust. It's abundant. In fact, it's 3 times more abundant than uranium is. So from that perspective, thorium has an advantage. However, unlike uranium, thorium itself cannot sustain a nuclear chain reaction directly, but it can be converted into a fissile isotope of uranium called U-233, and that can drive a nuclear reactor. So what does this all mean? Why are some people excited about thorium as a nuclear fuel? For one, thorium reactors do produce far less long-lived nuclear waste compared to conventional uranium reactors. Thorium also can be used much more efficiently in certain types of reactors. Liquid fluoride thorium reactors can consume nearly all the thorium fuel that is loaded into it. Uranium-based reactors, on the other hand, especially the current light water reactors, typically only use around 5% of the uranium that's loaded into it before the spent fuel rods need to be replaced. That means that when you take out the fuel rods, over 90% of the uranium is actually wasted. In theory, thorium reactors are safer with a lower risk of nuclear meltdowns, and they don't create any plutonium as a byproduct. So from a weapons proliferation perspective, that's also a positive. But before you get too excited, thorium technology still faces some major hurdles. We have significantly less experience and infrastructure for the thorium fuel cycle compared to the established uranium-based fuel cycle. Thorium reactors also require special processes and materials to convert the thorium to the fissile U-233, and they still do produce radioactive waste that does require safe disposal, albeit in a lesser amount than uranium. So is thorium a serious threat to uranium's dominance? In the short term, probably not. The uranium industry has decades of experience and an established global supply chain around uranium fuel. Shifting to thorium would require massive investments and overcoming technical challenges. However, in the long run, the potential benefits of thorium do make it an intriguing alternative or perhaps a complement to uranium fuel reactors. With more research and if the economic factors pencil out, now, whether thorium eventually replaces uranium or simply joins it in the nuclear fuel mix remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. Any additional sources of safer, cleaner, and more sustainable nuclear power will be beneficial to growing the entire industry as a whole. Before I end this video, I want to leave you with an analogy. Imagine you own a reliable gas-powered car that's been running well for years. You spent a lot of money to buy it, and you've spent a decent amount of money maintaining it over time. Sure, it uses a bit more gas, but it does get you from point A to point B without too many issues. Now electric cars come along. Potentially, if you switch to one, you can get better efficiency and lower emissions. But if you buy one, you are going to be the first one using this brand new technology. Also, there's no charging stations around you, and your local mechanics don't really know how to fix or maintain this new technology. Doesn't really sound very appealing just to get rid of your internal combustion engine car right away, does it? You fully paid it off years ago, and it's still doing its job pretty effectively. So while an electric car may be the future, the inertia behind sticking with your existing car it's pretty strong. Maybe when it's time for your next car purchase down the road, you'll make the switch to an EV. But junking a perfectly functional car just because a shiny new piece of technology came along doesn't make a lot of practical or economic sense. And that's essentially where we are with nuclear power when it comes to uranium versus thorium fuel. Countries like the US, Japan, France, China, India have poured billions into building, maintaining, and operating massive uranium-based nuclear facilities over the last several decades. I highly doubt they're just going to simply decommission all their nuclear reactors that are uranium-based just because thorium is promising. That would make zero economic sense when the uranium fuel cycle is very established, and the cost of uranium is a tiny fraction of the overall cost of operating a uranium-based nuclear power plant. While it might be possible for thorium to have its day in the future, Just like electric cars, I don't expect a massive shift away from uranium anytime soon. I believe uranium will remain king in the nuclear world, just like gas-powered cars still rule the roads, at least for the foreseeable future. What do you think? I'm the uneducated investor. Leave a comment below and you let me know.